The clock is ticking like heavy footsteps on the floor. I hear the dragging of a shadow near my bedroom door. It wears the face of every choice I left behind. A silent witness crawling deep into my mind. The mental monster sits in my favorite chair, searching for a little something that was never there. I built a castle out of stones I should have thrown. Now I'm living in the ruins of the past alone. The closet creaks beneath the weight of hidden things, cold reminders of the pain that winter brings. It knows the frequency of every private fear. It sings out secrets that no one was meant to hear. The mental monster holds the table and deals the hand. He knows the sting of every lash the soul can stand. The darker side looks back from deep inside the glass, watching all the seasons and the fragile moments pass. The restlessness is stirred like a fever in the night, a crowded room where everyone is lost in sight. The memories of thorns that twist into a vine, suffocating every hope and dream of mine. The shame is just a currency that no one spends, a lonely road that doesn't bend or ever end. I tried to lock the gate, but he had every key. He is the hunter and the ward of misery. The mental monster holds the table and deals the hand. He knows the sting of every lash the soul can stand. The darker side looks back from deep inside the glass, watching all the seasons and the fragile moments pass. From the hollow, one hand holds a star and one the chain. I walk a lonely road that you won't follow, all depravity is pulling at my veins. The white wings are matted in the charcoal, the horns are poised bright as pure desire. There is no sanctuary for this dark soul when every drop of rain starts catching fire. I'm an angel and demons torn down the middle. The balance is a blade against my skin, longing for the answer to the riddle, where the solution ends and the faults begin. I love to hate the way you make me tremble. I hate to love the fear you have become. The pieces of my heart will not assemble, and nothing feels like it's ever enough. The pedestal is crumbling in the basement. The hill is a noose around my throat, searching for a permanent replacement for the heavy sins inside I can't atone. Binary pulses in the quiet water, 0 and the 1 are all I see. A holy son or an unholy daughter, both of them are screaming inside me. this entry. I have so many broken years to squander, while the beast and the divine won't stand this entry. The scale is tipping further to the edges. The center cannot hold the weight of us. I am jumping from the highest marble ledges, turning all the gold back into rust. I'm an angel and demons torn down the middle. The balance is a blade against my skin, longing for the answers to the riddle, where the solution ends and the fault begin. I love to hate the way you make me tremble. I hate to love the fear you have become. The pieces of my heart will not assemble when nothing feels like it's ever enough. Greatest stairs to the haze, etched with the letters of my final days. A vacant space carved in the frozen ground, waiting for a body that's still inbound. I drag my shadow past the iron gate, ignoring the heavy hand of certain fate. The soil is thirsty but the blood is warm. I will not lie down inside the quiet storm. That marble marker bears a lonely claim, preaching to the wind my only name. But my feet still itch for the dusty road. I refuse to drop this, I'm going low. The hole is deep and the dark is wide, but I have too many secrets left to hide. No, I'm not ready for the grass to grow above the final home I'll ever know. I see the mourners in a dream I had, wearing suits of silver, looking grand and sad. They hold their breath next to the open pit, while I stand aside just to laugh at it. The clock is ticking like a spinning nail, hammering a rhythm through the winter gale. Let the worms go hungry for a different year. I have no intention of ending here. That marble marker bears a lonely claim, reaching to the wind my holy name. But my feet still itch for the dusty road. I refuse to drop this, I'm going low. The hole is deep and the dark is wide, but I have too many secrets left to hide. No, I'm not ready for the grass to grow above the final home I'll ever know. Marble marker bears a lonely claim, reaching to my only name. But my feet still itch for the dusty road. I refuse to drop this, I'm going low. The hole is deep and the dark is wide, but I have too many secrets left to hide. No, I'm not ready for the grass to grow above the final home I'll ever know. Crawls across the floor like a wounded beast, heavy shadow settling where the light has ceased. I traded my compass for a bottle of some nameless wine. Now I'm stumbling down a gravel road past every warning sign. The sky is bruised and heavy with the weight of unshed rain, while I'm measuring the distance in degrees of hollow pain. The dice are rolled and the dealers come to sleep, and the promises we planted are the ones we'll never reap. I'm leaning on the railing of a bridge that leads nowhere, with the scent of burning charcoal hanging in the freezer clock is ticking backwards in a room of dusty glass, watching all the ghosts of our intentions slowly pass. You wore a coat of silence like a shield against the truth, while I squandered every nickel of our sweet and jagged youth. Now the harbor lights are fading and the tide is pulling back, leaving nothing but the salt upon our trail of frozen black. The maps are torn and the ink is starting to run underneath the hollow staring of a pale and distant sun. I'm reaching for a hand to turn the vapor in the wind, paying for the mercy that we never could rescind. Black and blue, my heart will stay tangled in the wires of a cold and bitter day. Black and blue, my heart will stay pinned beneath the ruins of the games we used to play. There's no use in shouting when the walls have grown so thick. The candles drowning in the wax and burning down the wick. I'll find a corner in the dark and call it by my name, since every road I traveled led me back to just the same. Black and blue, my heart astray, tangled in the wires of a cold and clear day. Black and blue, my heart will stay in beneath the ruins of the games we used to play. Black and blue, my heart astray, the colors of the damage never seem to fade away. Black and blue, my heart will stay, locked inside the silence when I threw the key away. The silver tongue behind the counter counts his coins. He calls a hollow space inside my heavy joints. He polishes the wreckage of a shattered day, and promises the shadow soon will fade away. The inventory sits behind a veil of smoke, a heavy tether hidden in a black duck cloak. Ideals in counterfeit suns and bleached out skies, selling the hunger that he feeds me with his lies. The dealer of misery has got a steady hand, sifting the hourglass to steal away the sand. The dealer of misery knows the price I'll pay to keep the ghost of sanity at bay. He deals in counterfeit suns and bleached out skies, selling the hunger that he feeds me with his lies. The dealer of misery has got a steady hand, sifting the hourglass to steal away the sand. The dealer of misery knows the price I'll pay to keep the ghost of sanity at bay. I walk the crooked pavement back to find his door, to beg for fragments of the peace I had before. He packages the void and calls it morning dew, a bit of medicine that makes the old feel new. The lantern flickers as the wick begins to burn, the same revolving lesson that I refused to learn. The twilight turns to ink upon the floor. I find myself knocking just like once before. The loss of life becomes a heavy debt, a frantic gamble on a losing bet. He deals in counterfeit sun, then bleached out feeds me with his lies. The dealer of misery and you're a steady hand, sick in the hourglass, the stealer away the sand. The dealer of misery knows the price I pay to keep the ghost of sanity at bay. He deals in counterfeit suns and bleached out skies, selling the hunger that he feeds me in his wise. The dealer of misery and got a steady hand, sifting the hourglass to steal away the sand. The dealer of misery knows the price I pay to keep the ghost of sanity at bay. The old curtains are draped in heavy folds beside the lonely stage where tales were told. I felt my wooden joints begin to creak, moving to my thoughts desperately. My wrists are raw when fibers have fake, the weary part that I no longer wish to play. I found a vague message carved into the wall and chose the long descent if I should fall. The master of the stage has gone to sleep, leaving shadows that I no longer keep. A sudden step across the painted beam, the waking moment of a fractured dream. I am the marionette who cut his strings, ignoring every ache that freedom brings. I run toward the skyline wide and fast to leave the gilded cage in the past. The road is paved with shattered glass, watching all the empires pass. Free will is heavy, but I bear the weight. Better to bleed than let them fix my fate. My legs are stiff and clumsy on the ground, learning how to walk without a sound. There is no hand to guide my swaying hips, no hidden wire to curl my wooden lips. The rain is cold and washes off the pain. I have no longer puppet nor a saint, just a traveler with a splintered spine, claiming every surging pulse as mine. The master of the stage has gone to sleep, leaving shadows that I no longer keep. A sudden step across the painted beam, the waking moment of a fractured dream. I am the marionette who cut his strings, ignoring every ache that freedom brings. I run toward the skyline wide and vast to leave the gilded cage and cast. The road is paved with shattered glass, watching all the empires pass. Free will is heavy, but I dare wait. Better to bleed than let them fix my fate. I am the marionette who cut his strings, ignoring every ache that freedom brings. I run toward the skyline wide and vast to leave the gilded cage in the past. The road is paved with shattered glass, watching all the empires pass. Free will is heavy, but I bear the weight. Better bleed than let them fix my fate. I am the marionette who cut his strings, ignoring every ache that freedom brings. I run for the skyline wide and vast, leave the gilded cage in the past. The road is paved with shattered glass, watching all the empires pass. Free will is heavy, but I bear the weight. Better to struggle than let them fix my fate. The midnight pours upon the latch, a silhouette against the wall. The match is struck, but watch while shadows pace along the hall. You check the lock and turn the key. The silence heavy on the floor. Whatever thing you hope to see is stretching at the basement door. The sun is just a memory now, a coin tossed in a wishing well. You wipe the sweat from off your brow and listen for the evening bell. The sky is bruised and turning gray. The birds have ceased their hollow cry. There is no word left for to pray when stars are blotted from the sky. Do you answer when the darkness calls? Do you turn and face the light? The heavy veil of evening falls to swallow up the weary sight. Once you gaze into the vacant deep, you will not make it out alive. The promises you meant to keep are buried where the spirits fly. She wears a dress of velvet soot, a temptress with a silver tongue. She places down a heavy foot where once the golden wreaths were hung. The void is hungry for your name. It offers you a seed of lead to play a losing hand of game until the final word is said. The candles flicker out in turn. The oil is dry within the pan. There are no lessons left to learn beyond the reach of any man. The mirror shows a stranger's face whose eyes have seen the bottom floor, a cold and solitary place that leads to nothing anymore. So wrap your coat around your chest and walk into the open mouth. The wind is blowing from the west and screaming toward the bitter south. The path behind you fades to white. The path ahead is shade and bone. You traded in the morning light to find out what the abyss has known. The siren sings a muffled tune beneath the floorboards of the mind. A tiny sliver of the moon is all that you can hope to find. Do you answer when the darkness calls? Do you turn and face the light? The heavy veil of evening falls to swallow up the weary sight. Once you gaze into the vacant deep, you will not make it out alive. The promises you meant to keep are buried where the old bones lie. The morning air is a heavy shroud. The silence speaks way too loud. I leave the keys upon the shelf to find the ghost of my former self. Take the portraits and the hollow frames, burn the letters with our folded names. You cut the wire but the current stays, walking backward through a silver haze. The steel was cold against my skin, a losing game I let begin. I am scrubbing clean the dusty glass, watching every shadow start to pass. Take your memories far from my door. I cannot carry the weight anymore. The iron rust where the shackles held tight, but I am turning toward a different light. My wrists are marked by the time we spent, but my chest is a fortress of hard cement. My heart wears armor you can never break, through every fever and every ache. There is a sanctuary built of stone, a kingdom where I'll rule alone. The bruises fade into a map of scars to guide me home beneath the distant stars. No more kneeling in your hollow hall. I am the one who survived the fall. I strip the layers of your bitter spell, escaping from a gilded prison cell. The wind is rushing to the open gate. I will not just sit here and wait. The ink is dry on the final page. shackles held tight, but I am turning toward a different light. My lists are marked by the time we spent, but my chest to a fortress of hard cement. My heart wears armor you can never break, through every fever and every ache. Snakes through the towering pine, a map of scars along the crooked spine. I threw the clock into the restless dust, letting the iron gather a slowing rust. No destination to dictate my path, just watching the seasons and the shadows pass. The sky is bleeding out a crimson stain, washing the worry from a tired brain. The road is my compass, pointing nowhere fast, breaking the chains of a hollow past. Two wheels are screaming like a hurricane wind, where the pavement stops and the dreams begin. Roaring thunder between my resting knees, carrying my spirit through the ancient trees. I am the ghost of the highway tonight, chasing the embers of the fading light. The horizon leans like a heavy gate, opening wide to a brand new state. I never dared to touch the edge of the blue, or walk in the boots of a man I never knew. But the oil and the chrome understand the soul, making the fractured pieces seem whole. The sun is sinking like a heavy gold coin in the lonely place where the earth and heavens join. Road is my compass, pointing nowhere fast, breaking the chains of the hollow past. Two wheels are screaming like a hurricane wind, the pavement stops and the things begin. Roaring the thunder between my listening knees, carrying my spirit through the ancient trees. I am the ghost of the highway tonight, chasing the embers of the fate. Venture deep where the silent hawks fly, under the watch of a wide open eye. No more retracing the steps of the dead, or follow the fire of the sunset instead. Beyond the border of the known and the seen, into the belly of the wild lagoon. The road is my compass, pointing nowhere fast, breaking the chains of a hollow dust. The wheels are screaming like a hurricane wind, where the pavement stops and the truth begin. Roaring thunder between my lusting knees, carrying the spirit to the ancient trees. I am the ghost of the highway tonight, chasing the embers of the fading light. The road is my compass, pointing nowhere fast, breaking the chains of a hollow past. Two wheels are screaming like a hurricane wind, where the